Hello students, welcome to my class. Hope all of you are fit and fine in this pandemic condition. Let's start our today's portion. Today we are going to start Generation of Computer chapter. In today's class, we are going to learn what is generation, some key terms which you should know, features of first generation computer, features of second generation computers, and features of third generation computers. Let us start now. So before starting, we must know what computer generation is. Computer generation means the change in technology of computer in different period of time. Another definition for computer generation is computer generation means classification of computer system according to their technological advancement. Both of them means different changes on the different equipments in the different period of time. Now, here are some key terms which we should know before starting the lesson. First one, computer. As we know that computer is an electronic device which accepts input data, process it, and finally displays the result as output. At the same time, computer stores data for future use as well. Microprocessor. Microprocessor is CPU of modern days computer. Magnetic drum are the storage device used in first generation computers. Binary are the codes or the numbers 0 and 1, which is the language for computer and in which language the program is written for computer and it is directly understood by computer. Integrated circuit. Integrated circuit is the main part or CPU of third generation computer. Semiconductors are the device which is used to pass electricity partially. Machine language are the language understood by computer. Assembly language are the language where programs are written. They are neither high-level language nor low-level language. They are mediate-level language. Artificial intelligence are the intelligence which are supposed to be in the fifth generation computer. High level language is the language which is used by programmers to write program for computer, but computer do not understand high level language directly. High level language should be converted to machine level language to be understandable by the computer. Now let us start first generation computer. The computer produced and used between 1948 to 1959 are called first generation computers. These computers were marked by the use of vacuum tubes or valves as their chief electronic component, and magnetic drums were used for the storage of data. Here is the picture of vacuum tube. Vacuum tube was developed by Lee De Forest in 1908. Now have a look on features of first generation computer. Thousands of vacuum tubes were used which produced a large amount of heat and burned frequently. Normally, 13,000 vacuum tubes were used. Approximately, not exactly, approximately 13,000 vacuum tubes were used in first generation computer. And because of large amount of vacuum tubes, the size of computer was very big. For example, the size of Mark I was 13 feet long, 13 feet wide, 50 feet long and 8 feet height. Just imagine the size. 13 feet wide, 50 feet long, and 8 feet height. That was the first generation computer. So more vacuum tubes were used and more electricity was consumed and more heat was generated. So there was problem of heating and frequent malfunctioning of devices. Second one, they were very big in size, unreliable and slower in operation than other generations. The operating speed of first generation computers were measured in milliseconds. Though the computer was developed, but it was not according to the requirement. They were very slow, and because of its maintenance problem, people did not rely on it. So first generation computer was just built but was not used in the common use. Machine language was used. First generation computer used machine language. At that time, high level language was not developed. And it is very difficult to write program in machine language. It was very expensive computer. It was the first result of research, so it was very expensive. Some examples of first generation computers are Mark I, ENIAC, UNIVAC, and EDSAC. And about these devices, we have learned in chapter 2, History of Computer. So if you want to see the videos, you can see in chapter 2. Now, next one, second generation computer. The computers produced and used between 1959 to 1965 are called the second generation computers. These computers were marked by the use of transistors instead of vacuum tubes. Means vacuum tubes were replaced by transistors in second generation. Second generation computer moves from binary language to assembly languages, which allowed programmers to specify instructions in Word. So in first generation, only machine language was used. But in second generation, little bit high level language, not fully high level, but little bit high level language was used, whose name is assembly language. In assembly language, some English words were accepted. So it was slightly easier than the first generation computer to write program for second generation computer. These were also the first computer that stored their instruction in the memory, which moved from magnetic drum or disk technology. So in first generation, data were stored in magnetic drum or magnetic disk, whereas in second generation, data were typed on magnetic disk or drum. But in second generation, now second generation computers were able to store their data in their memory. And size was also reduced. Okay. Here is the picture of transistors and were developed by three developers, John Bardeen, Walter Brattain, and William Shockley. Now, let us talk about some features of second generation computers. Okay, now transistors were used as main memory. So in first generation computer, vacuum tubes were used as main memory, whereas in second generation, vacuum tubes were replaced by transistor. Smaller in size than first generation because nearly approximately 1000 vacuum tubes were replaced by one transistor. So, faster than first generation whose speed is measured in microsecond. Heat and power consumption was lesser than first generation because size was reduced. Assembly language was used instead of machine language. Cheaper than first generation computer. And examples are IBM 1401, Hewlett Packard 15152, IBM 1410, and IBM 1420. Now let us move to third generation computers. The computers produced and used between 1965 and 1974 are called the third generation computers. The third generation computers are marked by the use of IC, integrated circuit, instead of transistor. Means the main component of second generation computer was transistor and was replaced by integrated circuit in third generation computer. The third generation computers were smaller in size, faster and reliable than the second generation computers. Of course, than first generation as well. Now, here's the picture of integrated circuit, and it was developed by Robert Noyes, Jack Kilby. Now, features of third generation computers. Integrated circuits were used as main memory, which is semiconductor as well. That means somehow electronic equipments were used in third generation computers. As before I told you that near about 1000 vacuum tubes were replaced by one transistor. Similarly, in approximate way, 1000 transistors were replaced by one integrated circuit. In the same ratio, the working speed of third generation computers were more faster than first and second generation computer, and the size also has been reduced a lot. More reliable than second generation computer means third generation computers were more reliable than first and second generation computers. Faster than second generation computer whose speed was measured in nanosecond. Used high level language. Only from third generation computer high level language has been used. Keyboards and monitors were introduced. First generation computer and second generation computers don't have keyboard and monitor. They were just like machines in factories. But from third generation computers, the real look of computer was given of nowadays. Examples are IBM 360, Univac 1108, HP 2100. Okay, remaining portion to be continued in another class. Till then, thank you for watching, and lastly, I would like to request you to like and subscribe my videos. Thank you so much.